This is the Transformers Generations War for Cybertron Trilogy EARTHRISE Voyager class Starscream. I picked up this figure at Hobby Corner. Here's a quick look at the packaging. Probably the one of the most anticipated figures for the first wave of EARTHRISE figures. Pretty neat artwork. Let's get him out of packaging. And here is EARTHRISE Starscream out of packaging. And wow! The figure has so much nostalgia about it. I love how much detail Hasbro has put into this figure just to make it look like an updated version of the G1 Starscream in cartoon accurate fashion in a better scale. That's the Voyager scale, because we had a very good Starscream, very good Seekers in the deluxe class scale for classics and generations and all that. But this one is a big step in the right direction towards bringing to us updated version of our G1 favorite characters from Transformers. And wow, I love this Starscream mold. I love the detail they've put on him. Let me show you a little bit more of the detail of this figure from the null rays. The null rays were the first one I noticed. Look at that. I mean, it's a little thick, a little bit, but it should have been a little bit thinner, but I'm happy with it. The head sculpt, absolutely fantastic. If that's not Starscream, I don't know what is. The chest details, the shoulders, I mean, the wings, wow. And I love the colors. I love that they kept a little bit of the toy colors for this figure. I love that it's done in this really off gray type of plastic. They've kept a little bit of this anime-ish type of animated colors of the blue on his forearms and on his legs. I love the red that they used on this figure. It feels like it's a die-cast piece because of that glossy finish on it. Very nice. Very nice gunmetal gray for the intakes. Amber transparent or translucent plastic on the jet parts. Very, very nice. There's a few gaps here and there, as with alt mode, but other than that, I'm pretty happy, pretty stoked about this figure. The accurate Decepticon logo, the paint on the wings, really enjoying this figure. Knee pads. It feels like a shrunken down masterpiece figure. That's what I'm getting from this particular figure. So pretty cool. Articulation for the figure, he's got a ball jointed neck, ball hinge shoulders that go in and out, forward and backward, bicep swivel, hinge elbow that go all the way up like that, a little bit more than 90 degrees. No wrist swivel, it just has a wrist hinge because of transformation. Not to worry, not that big of a deal breaker. There's no waist articulation because of transformation, much like the old Seeker mold in the deluxe class. So the hips can go outward this way, and if you fold this flap right here, you can go forwards. Okay, you got a thigh swivel, hinge knees, 90-degree bend or more, and then some foot articulation because of transformation. So all in all, very pleased with this particular figure. And sculpt wise, I don't know how they could have improved him. Had they given him some form of waist articulation, much like the Siege Voyager Starscream, this would have been an awesome figure to pose. But as it is, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty happy with the design, the silhouette, and more importantly, the scale that this figure actually comes in. So let's do a bit of comparison. Let's start with Siege Starscream, his Cybertronian form. As you can see, they're about the same height. The shoulder pods or shoulders are almost the same height, even the chest. The head is a little bit recessed for the EARTHRISE version, so that he appears to be a little bit shorter than his Siege counterpart. Wingspan, obviously this one's bigger, but roughly, more or less, they're the same size. If you want to get a quick look at that head sculpt, I do like the EARTHRISE head sculpt better. That's the Starscream head I grew up with, watching the cartoons every Saturday mornings. And this one's really nice. I do love the Cybertronian mode. It's a callback to this one in a more Cybertronian-esque type of design. They're both Cybertronian, obviously, but almost same style of design for the torso. It didn't change much when he went to Earth. And here he is with Optimus Prime, just to give you an idea how big he is or how small he is. It's a good scale. And of course, here he is with Lord Megatron, and this is a perfect scale. I love how Megatron just towers over him in a way, because that's how it's always been in the cartoons. Megatron was, you know, one of the biggest, or at least the tallest of the Decepticons, at least for season 1. So it's a good scale. Here he is with the other Decepticons, at least the other major officers in the Decepticon Armada, Shockwave and Soundwave. So transformation, let's get him into his jet mode. The transformation is eerily similar to that old Deluxe Seeker transformation, if you still remember that years ago, but they've added a little bit of a few tweaks here and there, so it's not exactly the same as Transform, but very, very similar. So here we go. Let's start with the arms. Arms are a little bit difficult. They're not as easy as I thought they would be. You just flip these out, fold them inside. Very similar to the Cybertronian mode, the Siege Starscream. And just like that. The instructions tell you to do this. Move this forward up like this, then this, then this, then do it this way. Like that, and then fold it up like that, and then fold it back like that. Too many steps though, but I think Hasbro has taken some pointers from Takara Tomy with, they put a lot of insets and really make it a point to explain how things go. So instructions are pretty good. Kudos to Hasbro for that. Okay, next up is this. This will look very similar. Make sure the head is on straight. You flip the nose cone at the back and tab it in like that. Very similar to the old Deluxe class versions. Now, this one is, this next step is I'm not a big fan of. One of the steps I'm not a big fan of is there is a tab right here, right there on both sides, that lock that chest onto the shoulders, and you'll have to move that apart. And I guess over time that those tabs are going to expand and eventually they're going to break. And I'm not a big fan of that step. I wish there was a way they could have done that, like tab it in, there's a peg right there to slot in or something like that, but that's not practical in my opinion. So anyway, fold the waist piece up. The waist piece is on a friction joint, and this is the piece that's very akin to the chest piece of the Siege Starscream, so be careful with that. It just folds like this, and you'll have to put some pressure on this particular joint just to move it up like that, and then fold everything down like this. Sorry. And then this again will look very similar. Stretch this one out, rotate, and put it back up right there. Okay, that's that. And then the arms, they fold in this way, that way, and then they snap all the way back right there where I mentioned those tabs. And I cringe at the thought of doing this over and over, and I haven't even actually gotten it right, you know, easily. I mean, it looks easy to transform, but I cringe every time I transform it. Okay, next up, we'll do the wings last. Yeah, we'll do the wings last. Okay, this one, go ahead and hinge this particular tail fin, rotate this way, and then tab it right there. Same with here. Don't worry about the feet moving. The instructions tell you just to rotate it this way, but it doesn't matter because you're going to move the feet down anyway in the end. So just tab it that way. Tab both legs together, fold the feet down. See, it's not going to matter. Okay, open this, and in the original Deluxe class Seeker mode, it just slid right there inside, but this one they employed the Combiner Wars type of transformation. And it's very tight. It's probably because it's the first time I'm doing it, but it's tight. Everything's tight. and this one like there. And then finally, just straighten out the wings, fold them this way. And here's another annoying part. This particular joint is just on a peg. It's like on a double peg, and it tends to snap off, because what you want to do is fold it this way. Just much like the deluxe class version, there are tabs here and there that you'll have to negotiate when transforming it. And there you go. You can already see the gap right there that transformation is causing. It tends to pop this off. And in time, I believe that peg is going to loosen, and you're going to have very loose wings for this particular figure. And I'm not a big fan of that. I'm sorry. Okay. Same thing on this other side. I'm trying my best to be as gentle as possible because it's the first time we're doing this. But again, you see right there, it loves to tab off. And I honestly think they shouldn't have made those tabs too big. I mean, they're pretty small, but I wish they could have made them just rounded off domes. Just place markers so that you don't have to go through that whole process of popping these things off. So yeah, it's a little bit annoying, but I'm pretty sure Hasbro will find a way to adjust and fix these with the next repaints of Thundercracker and Skywarp and whatnot, and maybe the cone heads. So put the null rays right there, fold down these tail fins, and that's it. That is Starscream in his alt mode. Yeah, a little cumbersome to transform. I did not enjoy it too much, but yeah. So let's look at Starscream's alt mode in greater detail. This, I believe, is his old Earth mode F-15 back in the 80s. Pretty cool. Very believable. Very nice. Up top, it really looks nice. I love the colors, the grayscale. It's so toy accurate. I'm pretty sure Hasbro is going to do a white version or an animated version of this one, much like what they did with Optimus Prime and Megatron. Somewhere down the line, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. If you look at the bottom, there's a lot of gaps in this alt mode, and well, it's a little annoying. I wish they could have filled that up, but like I said, in the transformation, the likeness to the old deluxe class Seeker mold is right there, and so this thing is inevitable. The only sad thing I really didn't appreciate about this one, it's nitpicking, but I wish they could have put a landing gear a little bit here. This thing, they could have added one hinge right here for landing gear, or like the old version that flipped over like that. Here it was very difficult to put a landing gear because this was the actual transformation hinge, so I don't know if they could have put one here. In the old G1 toy, it was a separate piece you had to stick in it, but yeah, a little bit disappointing that there was no landing gear. So just to give you an idea of size and scale, here he is with his Cybertronian Siege counterpart. Amazingly, this one compresses really nicely, so it looks a lot smaller than this one. And just for the heck of it, here he is with leader class Astrotrain, who's actually a Voyager class. So you get the idea. Astrotrain, wow, a space shuttle dwarfed by an F-15. Interesting. So on a final note on this figure, I love that it's so nostalgic. I love that Hasbro has put a lot of detail to bring us a really updated version of the G1 Starscream, the way he looked, at least in the cartoon, giving him the toy colors and all that. Really paid attention to detail in a better scale than the old deluxe class Seeker mold. So kudos to Hasbro for that. On the other hand, I was a little bit bummed out about the transformation of this particular figure. I honestly think they could have done something better with that. They could have put better pegs instead of that those two end pegs right here. that will tend to break, I'm pretty sure, over time for the chest. The wing transformation was a bit of a pain, as well as the arm transformation. So I'm going to give this figure a 9 out of 10. The reason it's still high, despite me being bummed out about the transformation, is because of the nostalgia factor it still has. I mean, that bit of transformation for me, I don't think it's too much of a deal breaker. If you love Starscream, you're gonna love this figure. Just be patient with the transformation. But I'm hoping with the repaints that I'm pretty sure Hasbro's gonna do, just makes sense economically to produce a Thundercracker and Skywarp, and to please the fans. I hope they fix those issues, much like what they did with the chest issue of the Siege Starscream. So yeah, there you go, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this little video review. If you did, please let me know in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of this new EARTHRISE Starscream. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. This has been the Transformers Generations War for Cybertron Trilogy EARTHRISE Voyager class Starscream. Thanks for watching.